from yourself? What are your own values? What are your beliefs? Right? How do you see life and what do you expect from yourself? That's an internal belief. When you make a New Year resolution or you say on my 21st birthday, I'm going to start to drive, it's an expectation that you've set for yourself. Nobody's going to flog you, nobody's going to beat you if you don't meet that expectation, but it's something you set for yourself. It's a personal goal. So that's an internal expectation. And then you have external expectations. What your teachers want from you, your lecturers, what your parents want from you, what your boyfriend or girlfriend wants from you. That's an external expectation. Okay. Now, how human beings behave with both internal and external expectation is really what I want to share with you on. If you understand this framework, you're going to be able to get along with more people, right? And you'll be seen to be emotionally intelligent in dealing with people. So the first framework are the people that you can call them the obligers. Now, the obligers, they find it easy to get along with an external expectation. However, they struggle with their own internal expectations. So, an obliger would be an ideal nanny. They would put their own interests lower than the interests of the child or the parents, right? Because they live to please people. Serving people gives them joy in a form, especially when those people return their service with gratitude. So we call them obligers. Internally, if they have their own goals, if an obliger, if they have their own plan for the evening, today's Friday, maybe an obliger wanted to go out to dance salsa, but the friend calls them and say, "Oh no, forget about salsa now. Let's go out and go and play squash." They will say, "Okay," and then they will abandon their own plans in order to make their friend happy. That's an obliger mindset. You want to learn who's an obliger so that you know who to put in a particular role. If you want somebody to be tough with the rules, don't put an obliger there because they may struggle in telling people no. The second mindset is the people you will meet who we call the upholders. Now, the upholders, they uphold both internal and external expectation. If an upholder tells you, I'm going to go running every day by 6 o'clock, best believe whether it's raining or not, they'll go running. If an upholder tells you that according to the employee handbook, so so and so thing, best believe them because they've read it twice, because that's who they are. They tend to meet up with expectations from both the organization as well as their own internal expectation. If they tell you they're going to do something, they will usually go through with that. So those are the two first two. And then you will have friends or business partners that are more like questioners. Now, a questioner would be the person who, for lack of a better word, they ask a lot of questions. They will not necessarily meet up with your own external expectation if you cannot convince them why. So the question I will always ask you things like, but why? What about? How about this? And what if? They'll ask questions in order for you to justify them. And if you tell them because I said so, then you make them, you'll turn them off the wrong way because they'll rebel, right? But if you tell them reasons why, they will oblige you. So the question is a personality that can change, but you have to be able to justify your reasons why. And then finally, you have the persons that we'll call the rebels. Now, the rebels, they you know them because they're their own person. They're very individualistic. They want to do things by their own selves at their own time, dress how they like, right? They're very individualistic. They find it hard to meet both internal and external expectation. What do I mean? If a rebel tells you, "Oh, I'm going to go to church tomorrow," tomorrow may come and you tell the rebel, "How far? I thought we were going to church." The rebel will tell you, "I don't feel like it." That's a rebel. So you want to learn the different kinds of people you will meet so that you know, depending on what situation you find yourself or what job needs to be done, you know who to put in the right place, you know who to hold up to. For those of you that are Christians, let me give you a short story. In the Bible, Jesus tells the story of a man that had two sons, and he tells the first son, early in the morning, he goes to the door, he knocks, he says, "Hey, please, I need my vineyard to be cleared." And that son says, "Oh, Daddy, I can't do that shit." You know, I can't do that thing. Maybe it was hungover, I don't know. Anyway, father leaves him, goes to the second son. Please, I need my vineyard to be cleared. The second son said, don't worry, daddy, I consider it done. I got you. Man goes off, comes back later in the evening. He sees the vineyard has been cleared. He goes to the second son to say thank you. Second son says, daddy, sorry, I couldn't clear the vineyard. Daddy was confused. But the vineyard is cleared. See what it wasn't me. So the dad went back to the first son and said, I saw the vineyard is cleared. I don't know if you had anything to do with that. He said, of course. Who else would clear it? Like, I cleared it. And he says, okay, thank you. Now, based off what I just told you now, who do you think is a rebel, a questioner, an obliger, or an upholder based on these two songs? I'm asking the question. I want you to answer because that's basically how I know you're learning. It's very rhetorical questions. I need you to unmute yourself and make an answer.
Can you hear me, sir? Hello.
Rufus, do you want to answer?
For me, I'll go with the okay. Yes. For me, I'll go with
Please go ahead.
the one that is an obliger is that's the one who went and did who said no at first and later went to do the work. Then he's also kind of like an obliger and also a rebel because he just wanted to do it when he wanted to, when he felt like.
Right, right. So you're correct. The first one is a rebel obliger. He first rebelled, but later on he will oblige, and that's something
Yeah.
you have to learn. Sometimes you will hear a no, but that no may not be permanent. It may be a temporary no, and you require emotional intelligence to know who you're speaking to. If that no is actually a maybe, and if you just give it time, that no can turn to a yes. Or if you answer some more questions, that no may turn to a yes. You need to know who you're dealing with per time in order to be able to navigate this world. And that's basically what I want you to learn. So that's basically the four distinct personalities you'll be meeting throughout your lifetime. You want to learn how each of them interacts, and to the extent to which you learn this, I can assure you, you'll have a really successful career. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate this one. And it was very short and very direct. Very short and direct. I don't know if anyone has any question to ask as regards the four distinct personality that Coach Ebuka has actually talked about. If there is any question and the questionnaire. Okay, if you don't have any, we'll go over to the second speaker. But if you have later on, you can still put your question in the chat box, or while the second
Yes,
speaker
please.
is done, you drop the question. Everything will be answered at the end of the second session. All right, thank you so much, sir. I hand over to Aisha, our moderator. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Aisha, over to you if you're online. Hello, Aisha, can you hear me? Okay, I guess she's having a bit of network issues. So without taking much of our time, we'll go over to the second speaker because it seems today's session will be very brief and because Coach Ebuka has actually laid a line for it using less than half of his time. That was a great and very direct, so we could understand the personality of people and how to relate with them. So the next speaker is Engineer Justice Ayafo. He's a multifaceted person. and his bios are it's very long. It's very, very long. But he's an international relationship management personality, conflict resolution. He's also an engineer, a member of SP, a founder, and also a business guru. And for me, I call him a tourist. I know he didn't give this to me, but I call him a tourist because every day he's here. And it's not just that he's just going for no. Every day is engaged and every travel actually carries a meaning. So let's put our hands together as we make welcome Engineer Justice Christian Ayafo. So the next voice you'll be hearing will be him. So over to you, sir, if you can hear me. Welcome to the Next Gen Leadership Training, sir. Thank you so much. We're glad to have you on the podium. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Rufus. And I also want to thank the first speaker who spoke. The address, that's Coach Ebuka. I think he did a great job as far as helping not just you guys, I myself. I was amazed to hear some of those key insights from him. And I feel that I always tell people there is no limitation to where you will learn from. And this is a brief of my bio for just a summary aspect that you need to know about me. And I really acknowledge your